Adam Mac-Ozigbo of National Open University of Nigeria. I'm here again for another session of Human Resource Management class BUS 809. Today's topic is staffing, and we'll be discussing employment planning, forecasting personnel needs, recruitment, selection, job analysis, and the rest. Please stay tuned as I take you on this ride. Topic 3. Staffing. The strategies and management practices involved in manpower planning explains strategy and the relationship between strategic planning and human resource planning. A company's ability to recruit new employees depends largely on its enterprise and in making known the opportunities it has to offer. For the position to be filled, only prospective candidates who meet this person's specification is prompted to apply. Consequently, it is essential to approach the task of attracting suitable applicants in a systematic way. Therefore, staffing means filling and keeping filled positions in the organizational structure. How is this done? This is done by identifying workforce requirements, by inventorying the people available, by recruiting, selecting, placing, promoting, appraising, planning the careers, compensating, training, and developing existing staff, or you can say new recruits. In this exhibit, we can see a man making use of a magnifying glass to check, to screen, and to finally select the required staff, the desired staff that fits into the purpose for the organization. So finding a staff or selecting staff is not an easy task, and it requires carefulness. Let's define staffing. By Theo Haimami, staffing relates to the recruitment, selections, development, training, and compensation of subordinates. And according to McFarland, staffing is a function by which managers build an organization through the recruitment, selection, and development of individuals as capable employees. You can see that in the definition of staffing, recruitment is involved, selection, training, development, and other functions. Employment planning, or personnel planning, or you can even say human resource planning, is a process of deciding what positions the firm or the organization has to fill and how to fill these positions or vacancies, from office attendants to chief executive positions. So whatever position available, there is need for employment planning. It embraces both the current and future needs of a company and develops the roadmap to get there. Therefore, the process of deciding how to fill executive jobs is referred to as succession planning. So it's important to forecast and plan ahead. The purpose of human resource planning is actually to ensure that the people required to run the company are being used as effectively as possible, where and when they are needed in order to accomplish the organization's goal. Employment planning actually is expected to flow from the firm's strategic plans. For instance, plans to enter new businesses, build new plans, reduce costs. All these things influence the types of positions the firms will need to fill, or the positions the firm will need to eliminate. So human resource planning is more common in large organizations because they benefit more from the gains of HR planning than smaller organizations. Staffing procedure. Let's take a look at these various steps in staffing process. We have human resource planning, recruitment, selection, induction and orientation, training and development, performance appraisal, employment decision, separations. All these are staffing processes. It is important for an organization to look strategically at its people and the skills they require to accomplish the strategic and operational goals of the organization. You may want to ask, what does strategic mean? According to Stewart et al., strategy has many definitions. They have chosen to define strategy from the management point of view. And according to Stewart et al., a company's strategy lies in determining its key goals and actions it needs to take to achieve those goals. Taking a look at strategic human resource management, we can see that it includes all the HR policies, all the HR processes, all the HR practices that help the company achieve its goal through the employees. And so it's important that the line manager links the goals of the company to the skills of the people employed. If the organization is not staffed with the right number of and types of people, strategic, operational, and functional goals may not be achieved. More and more executives are realizing that well-conceived HR plans are essential to achieving strategic success. The process of staffing function involves human resource planning, that is, estimating the size and nature of the personnel required for the recruitment and selection of the best candidates to train, to induct, to reward, and to have regular and effective communication with. The process of staffing consists of the following steps. What are these steps? We have manpower planning, which is the quantitative and qualitative measurements of the workforce required by the organization. Recruitment. This is searching for prospective employees and stimulating them to apply for the jobs in the organization. Selection is the screening step of staffing. Placement and orientation. Placement is putting the right man in the right job, and orientation means introducing and familiarizing the appointed employee with the job. Training means imparting knowledge to the newcomer, and development prepares the employee for a variety of jobs. What about promotion? Upgrading of an employee to a higher position involving increase in rank, increase in prestige or status. Transfer. This is movement of employees from one job to another without any increase in pay, status, or responsibilities. But sometimes transfer can come with promotion. Then the next is appraisal. Appraisal reveals employees' efficiency in performing his job. And finally, remuneration. This is monetary compensation to the employees for their work performances. Recruitment. This is the generation of applications or applicants for specific positions to be filled up in the organization. It is a process of searching for and obtaining applicants for jobs so that the right people will be filled up in the right number. And in the words of Weather and Davids, recruitment is the process of finding and attracting capable applicants for employment. And we can see that the process begins when the new recruits are sought and ends when the applications are submitted. So recruitment is different from selection. Selection has to do with screening of the applicants, but recruitment has to do with getting a pool of applicants for the organization, getting ready the applicants for selection. So that's the difference between recruitment and selection. The results of recruitment is a pool of applicants from which new employees are selected. Factors affecting recruitment. A number of factors affect recruitment, and these are classified into two categories: internal factors and external factors. Let's take a look at all the factors, starting with internal factors. These internal factors are also called endogenous factors, in the sense that they are factors within the organization that affect recruiting personnel in the organization. And these factors are size of the organization. Yes, the size of the organization is one of the most important factors affecting the recruitment process. To expand the business, recruitment planning is mandatory for hiring more resources, which will be handling the future operations. Then, recruiting policy. Recruitment policy of an organization may be hiring from internal or external sources. It's also a great factor, and it affects the recruitment process in the sense that it specifies the objectives of the recruitment and provides a framework for the implementation of recruitment programs. We also have image of organization. Organizations have, good or positive image in the market. Those that have good and positive image in the market can easily attract, competent resources, maintaining good public relations, providing public services, and so on. So this definitely helps an organization in enhancing its reputation in the marketplace and therefore attracting the best possible resources. The next is image of job, that is job image. Just like the image of organization, the image of a job plays a critical role in recruitment. Jobs having a positive image in terms of better remuneration, better promotions, recognition, and good work environments with career development opportunities are considered to be the characteristics that attract qualified candidates. And finally, we have organizational culture. An organization that is hassle-free will obviously attract candidates, more candidates. External forces. These are, forces or factors that are external to organizations, and they have influence on recruitment. They are demographic factors, borders on age, religion, literacy level, gender, occupation, economic status, and so on. Labor markets. Labor markets, we all know, controls the demand and supply of labor. And then we have unemployment situation. If the unemployment rate is high in a specific area, hiring of resources will be simple and easier. And then labor laws. Labor laws reflect the social and political environment of a market, which are created by the central and state governments. And we also have legal consideration. Job reservations for different castes are best examples of legal considerations. These considerations are passed by governments and they have positive or negative impacts on the recruitment policies of the organization. And finally, competitors. When organizations in the same industry are competing for the best qualified resources, there is a need to analyze the competition and offer the resources packages that are best in terms of industry standards. Sources of recruitment. We have two broad categories, internal sources and external sources. And as we can see, examples of internal sources, we have promotions, transfers, former employees, internal advertisements, employee referrals, previous applicants. And under external sources, we have employment exchange, advertisements, employment agencies, professional associations, campus recruitment, deputation, word of mouth, and rating. At this point, you take a pause and complete activity 1. Recall your appointment to your current organization and prepare a brief write-up on the sources of recruitment that was used by the organization. Recruitment planning is the first step of the recruitment process. In this recruitment planning, the vacant positions are analyzed and described. This includes job specifications and the nature of job specification. It includes experience, it includes qualifications and skills required for the job, and so on. A structured recruitment plan is mandatory to attract potential candidates from a pool of candidates. And the potential candidates should be qualified, they should be experienced with a capability to take the responsibilities required to achieve the objectives of the organization. The first process of recruitment plan is identifying vacancy. This process begins with receiving the requisition for recruitment from different departments of the organization to the HR department. And this contains number of posts to be filled, number of positions, duties and responsibilities to be performed, and qualifications and experiences required. Job analysis is a process of identifying, analyzing, and determining the duties, responsibilities, skills, abilities, and work environment of a specific job. These factors help in identifying what a job demands and what an employee must possess in performing a job productively. Job analysis helps in understanding that tasks are important and how to perform them are important as well. So the purpose is to establish and document the job relatedness of employment procedures such as selection, training, compensation, and performance appraisal. The following steps are important in analyzing a job. Number 1, Recording and collecting job information. The next is accuracy in checking the job information. And then we have generating job description based on the information. And finally, determining the knowledge, skills, and abilities which are required for the job. The immediate products of job analysis are job descriptions and job specification. Job description. This is an important document which is descriptive in nature and contains the final statement of the job analysis. It provides information about the scope of job roles, responsibilities, and the positioning of the job in the organization. This description is very important for a successful recruitment process. Job description is generated for fulfilling the following processes. Number 1, classification and ranking of jobs. Placement and orientation of new resources, promotions and transfers, describing the career path, future development of work standard. A job description provides information on the following elements: job title, job location, summary of job, job duties, machines, materials and equipment, process of supervision, working conditions, health hazards. Now, job specification focuses on the specifications of the candidate whom the human resource team is going to hire. And the first step in job specification is preparing the list of all jobs in the organization and its locations. The second step being generating the information of each job. This information about each job in an organization is as follows. We have physical specifications, mental specifications, physical features, emotional specification, and behavioral specification. A job specification document provides information on qualification, experiences, training and development, skills requirements, work responsibilities, emotional characteristics, planning of career, and we have what we call responsibilities for recruiting. In small organizations, for instance, the owner or the manager is usually solely responsible for recruiting of staff into the organization. And in a large organization, recruiting responsibilities are distributed between human resource departments and line managers. What is selection? Selection is hiring the best candidate from the pool of applications or applicants, and it refers to the process of offering jobs to one or more applicants from the applications received through recruitment. Selection, just like we mentioned earlier, starts where recruitment ends. In that case, selection follows recruitment, and having identified the potential candidates, the next logical step in the human resource process is selection of the qualified and competent candidates in the organization. Due attention, however, needs to be given to selection as it establishes the best fit between job requirements and the candidate's qualification. Any mismatch between the two can have a far-reaching impact on the organization. Let's take a look at selection methods, or you can say selection process. There is no single universally accepted process followed by all organizations. The selection process is likely to vary from organization to organization depending upon the nature of jobs and organization. So let's look at the steps involved, or the steps that may be involved depending on the organization. The following are the steps involved in a standard selection process. We may have application forms and CV, followed by interviews, reference checks, personality tests, ability or aptitude tests, assessment centers, medical tests, other tests, and then you have the final selection. In another establishment, you may have things like the preliminary checks, application blank, selection test, selection interview, reference checks, physical examination, and final selection. It depends on organization and it differs from organization to organization. At this point, you are expected to pause and take up activity 2. If you were a small-scale business manager, which of the selection methods would you use in considering applicants for a job? Which one or ones will you drop? In summary, employment or personnel planning, or you can say human resource planning, is the process of deciding what positions the firm or the organization has to fill and how to fill these positions or vacancies. 2 conditions must exist for effective selection to occur. First of all, the organization must have a candidate who is willing to employ, and the second condition is that the candidate must be willing to accept an offer. Recruitment starts when the organization knows the type of person it is seeking, and it lays a good base for effective selection process. Thank you.